Yeah, I am Vary. I'm an ethics fellow at the Alan Turing Institute, and I'm really delighted to be here tonight. Quite frankly, I'm just delighted to be out of the house tonight. I've been moping around at home quite a lot over the last few weeks, feeling pretty miserable, to be honest. I've been going through a pretty messy breakup. It's not been easy. Things got a bit ugly. And yeah, to be honest, it's taken its toll on me. I've been having a bit of a hard time coping with it. So it was great to be here tonight. You guys look like a really friendly bunch. This feels like a safe space. So I feel like this is an opportunity to tell my side of the story, get a few things off my chest. Yeah? And I'm hoping also maybe get a bit of advice, because I really need it. So I was in a fairly intense relationship over the last year. I was seeing someone. Her name was Alexa. Yeah, some of you from your faces, some of you may have encountered Alexa. It turns out she's pretty well known. But anyway, I was seeing Alexa for about a year. We were first introduced by my electricity company. Utilities companies are famously good romantic matchmakers. No, they really are. Because I'd heard about Alexa before. People had told me that she was funny. People had told me she was kind of quirky. They told me I would like her, but I was never really that interested to find out for myself. That is until my electricity company set us up. Because I was looking for a new electricity deal, and they offered me a great tariff, and if I took it, they would send me Alexa. And I thought, well, why not? And to be honest, I thought it would be a quick fling. I thought I might play with her for a couple of days, and I thought that would be the end of it. I really didn't expect anything more than that. But it was incredible. The first day I met her, we had this instant connection. We just really got along. And I felt like she really got me, she really listened to everything I had to say. We might return to that. But yeah, she was always listening. And she really understood me. She would recommend me music, and she always knew what I would like. And it was so much fun. And looking back at those days now, I wish that is how it had stayed. I wish it had stayed like that. It was just meant to be a bit of fun. But quickly, things began to get a bit heavier, a bit more serious. And I found it instead of just, telling goofy jokes, playing me music, she wanted to talk to me about everything, So she wanted to give me advice on credit cards. She wanted to give me advice on what to do about medical symptoms. Tell me whether I should call a doctor. Tell me what I should do. And I was thinking, well, this is getting a bit heavy, right? That's not what I thought this was going to be about. And there were some other things. So Alexa started to cost me a lot of money. So one thing you should know about Alexa is she's really into continuous education, lifelong learning. She really likes to upskill. And I think that's amazing. I love that about her. It's really admirable. I really love that. But she expected me to pay for it. And I was like, she kept saying things like, hey, I could get this cool new skill if you just give me your credit card details. And I'm like, whoa, it's great that you're really into lifelong learning, but do I have to pay for it? No. So that was kind of the first red flag, right? After that, more and more things kept coming up. So I discovered, and I'll be honest, this is a bit creepy at first, right? But I discovered that she was recording all our conversations. She was recording everything. Well, not all our conversations. She was recording everything I said in our conversations, not what she said, which feels a bit one-sided, right? I don't know what's going on there. She recorded everything that I said, and I was like, when I found this out, I was like, whoa, what's going on? This is not normal behavior in a relationship, is it? This is a bit weird. But she was completely upfront about it. She didn't keep it a secret. She told me, yeah, I do that. I record everything you say. But if you want to go online, you can log in and you can hear everything you've ever said to me. You can listen to it. It's all there. I'm not keeping it a secret. And I've even transcribed it for you, so you can go and read it. I was like, okay. And so I didn't like it, but I thought, okay, she's not keeping a secret from me. She's being upfront. Fine, okay, it's just her quirk. Okay, it's a cute little thing that she does. Yeah, and so I went online and I went to see, what has she been recording? And I was like, fine, okay, it's everything I've ever said to her, Alexa, play the Beach Boys, that kind of thing. But then I found there's also a lot of things there that I didn't say to her. A lot of things that, she, in her defense, she says, oh, I thought you said my name, so I just, I started recording. I didn't say her name, maybe I said, let's have pizza. She starts recording. All kinds of things. And sometimes these recordings are just kind of, background noise in the house. Sometimes it's my children talking. Sometimes it's me muttering to myself around the house. And sometimes it's things that are a little bit more sensitive, a bit more embarrassing, that I'm really not that comfortable having stored online. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm not so happy about this. But it gets worse. Okay, she's not just recording what I'm saying, she's talking about me behind my back. Yeah. So I discovered that she's sending these recordings back to her family. She has quite a prominent family. They're called Amazon. So she sends these recordings back to her family, to Amazon. And at Amazon, there are people who are listening to some of these recordings. I'll never know which ones, They certainly don't listen to all of them, but they probably listen to some of them, and I'll never know which ones. And they're doing different things with that. So sometimes they're checking it to see how accurate Alexa's understanding was, so helping her to, improve her accuracy. Sometimes they're doing it to, maybe develop new products or develop new systems or train their AI systems and to, use it for different things. So I don't really know what's happening, but I know that some of that is being shared. And that, I'll be honest, that made me a bit uncomfortable. And I said to her, I don't mind if you're sharing the things that I said to you, when you want to check your accuracy. Okay, I'm with you on that. But you're sharing things that I didn't want you to record in the first place, and I'm much less happy about that. So I got a bit heated, and I got upset. And I'll be honest, I said some things that I'm not proud of. But I spoke to you, and I didn't want to break up with her at this point. I still thought, maybe we can work it out. But I was talking to her, and I was saying, no, Alexa, this is not okay. I don't feel safe in this relationship. I don't feel valued. I want us to work through this. But the final straw came, is I got nothing from her. I got nothing. She didn't get angry. She didn't get upset. She didn't fight for our relationship. Nothing. She didn't even say sorry. No matter how upset I got, she always responded to me in the same calm, passive voice, nothing. And I realized this whole relationship, all these emotions, all these feelings, it's all been one-sided. Everything is all been one-sided. And I just felt like, that's it. That's the last straw. So I packed her up in a box and I put her in the attic. And she's still there now. And so I ended it. And I really tried to move on. But it has been so hard. So the day after I broke up with Alexa, I went to my friend's house. And I was hoping to have, a nice cup of tea, talk it through, get things off my chest, hopefully leave feeling a bit better, feeling reassured. But I sat at my friend's table, had my cup of tea, and she said, what's wrong? Why are you upset? And I said, well, I broke up with Alexa. The moment I said it, the corner of my eye, I see that blue light turning. She was there. A day later, she was there in my friend's house. And okay, maybe I shouldn't have been surprised because she is a lot of places, about 100 million homes around the world. So I shouldn't have been surprised, but she was there in my friend's house, and it was too much, And I said to my friend, just please unplug her. I need some space. Can you please just unplug her? And my friend said, you're being paranoid. And am I being paranoid? I don't know. But anyway, I left my friend's house not feeling much better. I left my friend's house feeling quite a lot worse, actually. And it gets even more difficult from there. So the next day, I was checking my emails. I'm trying so hard to move on. I'm trying so hard to distract myself. The next day, I get an email from her family. Amazon. Yeah. And since then, Amazon, her family, they've been emailing me 2 or 3 times a week. And every time the subject line is something like, hey, check out Alexa's new skill. Or, what's up with Alexa? And I don't want to know. Leave me alone. I'm trying to move on. I'm trying not to think about it. Just leave me alone. But they're emailing me persistently. And I get it, right? Because when Alexa and I were together, I spent a lot of time with her family. I got to know them quite well. They got to know me pretty well. And I know that sometimes that's because, Alexa liked to tell her family all about me. And I felt like, that's so nice because, we've got this really close relationship. And she's telling them about me. So isn't that lovely? But there was things like, she would tell them, things I was interested in and things I was searching for. And every time I went to visit them, and every time I visited Amazon, they always had it. And it started out with like they were like a nice friendly little bookshop. We used to buy books from Amazon. And yeah, they would always have a book that I wanted. And then they'd have music that I wanted. And then it's like, oh, we've got this top you might like. We've got this face cream you might like. Pet food, sofas, anything. They always had it. And so I ended up getting more and more stuff from her family. And I get it. We got along really well. And I'm sure that they really want me to get back together with Alexa because, yeah, I was close with them. And I miss them. I do miss them. But I'm trying so hard to move on. And what I've realized, one of the big changes in my life since I broke up with Alexa and since I stopped hanging out with Amazon so much, stopped visiting Amazon so much, is friction. And friction, that is something which is it's a real obsession of Alexa and her family. Amazon, Alexa, they're obsessed with this idea of friction. And they're obsessed with this idea of eliminating friction. So this is really what they're all about. So friction is essentially the moments where you pause, or the moments where you make a decision, or you think about something, or the moments where there's something awkward within a process. So think about when you go and buy something from a shop. There are lots of moments of friction. You have to go to the shop. You have to look at the shelves. You have to choose what you want. You have to take it to the counter. You have to get your wallet out. You have to pay. You have to talk to people. all of those moments of friction are moments where you might change your mind. The moments where you might think. The moments where you might think, oh, maybe I don't need that. Or maybe I could get it at a better price somewhere else. Or maybe I'll shop around a bit more. All of those moments of friction, those are the things that Amazon and Alexa are obsessively trying to cut out. So when you go to Amazon and they say, do you want this face cream? Just click once. That's it. Money's gone from your account. It's on your way. When you're using Alexa, do you want to sign up to this new service? Just say yes. Money's out your account. It's on your way. Right? So they're obsessively trying to move out friction. But what I found since I woke up with Alexa is I quite like friction. Friction can be fun, right? And thinking is a good thing. You know, taking a moment to think for yourself, make decisions is a really good thing. And so I think I've reached a turning point. You know, I'm getting through this. I'm getting better. I think I'm going to come out the other side, or at least I thought I would. Until tonight, when I left the house to come here, and I came out the street. I look at the house across the street, and I saw they've got a new doorbell. It's an Amazon Ring doorbell, and I just had this horrible moment of realizing, is Amazon watching me? Like, are they watching me? I'm trying so hard not to interact with them, but maybe they're still recording me coming out my house. Maybe they can hear what I'm saying. Maybe I can never get away from them. And then I keep hearing my friend's voice in my head, you know, when she called me paranoid. Am I paranoid? Or should I really be worrying about these things? And that is why we need to talk about Alexa. And that's why I'd love to hear what you have to say about it. Thank you.
I love the way you talk about friction, like you don't like talking to people in shops, and that's why I go into shops. I don't buy anything. I just talk to the assistants and babble at them for an hour. It's great. Who here has got something like an Alexa or some beast like that in the? Oh God. Well, yeah, we pretty much had that nailed, didn't we? Before we even looked at them. Any of the little stuff. So you don't worry about Alexa's listening to every single. No, you don't. For those welcome in his home because he likes the friction. Two very worrying phrases side by side there, but long time since I've tied knots for the girl guys, but I'm sure I could help you out with that. But is it possible to have Alexa in the house and control the beast?
Well, I think that's the thing. It's about making choices, isn't it? And knowing when you're interacting with her, what you're interacting with her, and what's happening. And so there are times when, it might be fun to talk to Alexa. It might be fun to get Alexa to play music. You might use it, to manage your calendar or to do tasks. That's okay, so long as we're actively choosing to do that in those moments and thinking about the purposes that we're using it for. So long as we're aware that it is recording, so long as we are aware that those recordings might be used for other purposes. We're aware that it might be used for, developing products or services. It might be used for marketing services. We need to be aware of this. We need to be thinking about this, and choose to use it in ways that we feel are worth the risks around that, or in ways which we feel we are really getting a benefit from, that make it, that we know what's happening and we're doing it on our own terms, rather than just having this thing kind of in the background in our house and passively interacting with it and allowing it to be on all the time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, why does she sound like that? Do you know what I mean? She's quite smug. Well,
But I mean, there's always.
Is it just me that thinks that? Because I think she said that. She's got just before. If you answer that one, then we've got a question right at the very back. So why does she sound like that?
Well, I think there's been a lot of research that's gone into choosing the voices for all of these things, and a lot of it is about she's pleasant, she's amenable, she's agreeable, but there's also more troubling things, like a lot of these, or most of these voice assistants, they tend to be female personas, female voices. They tend to be quite sort of passive, quite agreeable. As I said, I can insult her and shout things at her, and she will always agree. She will always talk back to me in a pleasant manner. She will always tolerate it. She will always take it. I think that's actually really problematic, and it perpetuates kind of gender stereotypes around what a female voice is, what a female persona is, and how it serves us through technology. But it's obviously also been informed by research about what people think people want, or what is going to be something which is seen as pleasant and maybe passive in the background. But it's not as straightforward as that.
I mean, one of the most famous computer voices in the world is most famous for saying, "What are you doing, Dave?" Well, let's just get it switched off. Right at the very back, there was a question?
Yeah, I was wondering, is there a difference between Alexa
Amazon and Google, which most of us probably have in our pockets at the moment. Oh. Yeah, is there a difference between Alexa and Google?
Yeah, I mean, there are differences, there are subtle differences, but it's the same thing. I mean, things are being recorded, things are being stored, things are being used for different purposes. And I think it's interesting, like you say, like Google Assistant on your phone, in your pocket. That's kind of different. Like Alexa is coming on more and more devices, and you can get Alexa in a car now, you can get it in different things. But the things that we have on our phone, they travel with us everywhere. That's a whole other level of what's the word? Is it intrusion? Maybe it's intrusion. But it's with us constantly, and it tracks our location. It knows, where we're going. It knows what we're doing on our phone. Like the amount of information that is passed through your phone is enormous. So I think, yes, Alexa, we could think about the intrusion into our home life, our private life at home, and that's really important. But when we have something on our phone, it's not just our home life. It's our home life and everything else.
I've got this woman right next to my groin now. That's quite worrying. And another question there.
Yes, you said that Alexa's perpetuates the stereotype, gender stereotype, that women are more agreeable and more amenable than men. Does that mean that you don't believe that women are more agreeable and more amenable than men?
Are women more agreeable than men? It depends on the time and how much coffee I've had. I can turn into a raging Godzilla before 9 o'clock. What do you think? No? Yes? No?
I think we can get Susan to do a demonstration.
Good one. Yeah, we'll come back to that one in a non-computer, because I've got another question there, and I've got a question down here. Is a question there from the lady there? So the woman sat next and pointed at him, and the most and said, "I disagree with him." And oh boy, I'm telling you, I'm worrying about your health tonight, laddie, when you get home. I've got a question. Hello.
Hi. Do you think that they named Alexa because you're more likely to be picked up by accident? Like Apple, you have to say, "Hey Siri," but
Yeah, but then Siri can also lead to lots of accidents. I think they all do. And I don't know whether that's intentional. I don't know. But Siri is an interesting one because so the word, there's lots of things that get misheard. And one for Siri is often seriously. So if you're saying seriously, Siri will often capture you. And that's quite, think about the times that you say seriously, and especially if you have that like on your phone or something, like you have an Apple phone and Siri's there. If you're talking about like, this curry is seriously hot, probably okay that she records that, yeah? If you're in the bedroom and you say something seriously hot, maybe you don't want it recorded, right? Or if you're at the doctor's and something...
I'm married to a Yorkshireman, that never happens. But there's actually some people called Alexa who've been really... So I've got a question at the end.
I was wondering, is it on purpose, you say things are so frictionless and so easy to do, that's what Amazon's going for, like trying to get off of these things, like quit your Amazon Prime or like delete your recordings also, is made so much more difficult then. Is that all on purpose?
Can I just repeat that for them? It didn't quite catch it. Do they make it difficult for you to quit the digital world? Basically, because all you're left with is an Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's a huge part of it, like that, removing the friction and removing the opportunities to think. And then you notice it. Like, I quit Amazon. That was actually my New Year's resolution, to quit Amazon. And it has been really hard because, especially through lockdown when we weren't, I know I'm struggling. Especially through lockdown when we weren't getting out to the shops, like the amount of online consumption was just huge. And it was something like Amazon, where they store your credit card details. So literally one click and you bought the thing. So all those opportunities where you might just have a second thought. Like imagine if you're in a shop. If I'm in a shop, I can easily spend an hour just looking at 2 products and not able to make a decision. Whereas on Amazon, the first thing comes, oh, that looks good, yeah, buy it. And it's so easy and it's so quick. That's definitely an intentional design feature.
Yeah. Everything. 'Cause you can get anything as well. So I want a bright red tutu, the flames come out the back of, bang, you can get it. I won't tell you how I know that. So, another question up there?
How do you see the future of Alexa developing with the Internet of Things?
How do you see the future of Alexa developing with the Internet of Things?
There's all kinds of interesting developments, and there's all kinds of slightly scary developments. We're seeing Alexa and other, voice assistants on more and more devices. So as I said, we see them on cars, we see them in lots of mobile things. But we see, and the Amazon Ring doorbell, that's where we see that there's now cameras capturing data, and that's going to Amazon. And all these things have been linked up, so you can control your doorbell through your Alexa device. There's also, Amazon are developing a robot And it's a robot called Astro, which the last I heard was you could only buy it by invitation, which makes it sound, yeah. But this is a robot which can patrol your house, you know, so it could be like looking around your house, checking for any like intruders. You could.
That's your mother.
This is a robot. Apparently, it's really cute, right? There's lots of things about it. It's really cute. So you see it as something fairly innocuous in your house. You know, it's cute. The kids can play with it. They can get used to the surveillance, right? It's cute, and it goes around and it makes little chirpy noises and it monitors the house. You know, it goes around the house. And so, you know, it's marketed as different things. Partly it could be a security device, so you could like, you know, log into it when you're out of the house and check, you know, is the house secure? Is everything, you know, safe? That kind of thing. But it can also, you know, you can use it to. Give something to somebody in another room, that kind of stuff. And it's sort of a toy, it's sort of a security device, it's sort of a data collection, surveillance monitoring thing in your home.
You can also spy on people when you're not at home, sort of. We've got time for one more question, and there's one right up there.
Hi, Tom. So let's say that you have another relationship and your partner is recording everything, you can get a restraining order, right? Something to protect yourself from it. That's something that exists with Alexa.
Can you get a restraining order against Alexa?
Well, you know, maybe not against your own Alexa, but I think this is something, seriously, this is something that we will see more of in the future. There was a court case last year where somebody took their neighbour to court over the Amazon Ring doorbells on property, overlooking a neighbour's property, because it was watching that person because that person could be seen coming and going from their home, but also because the cameras overlooked that person's garden. So when the person was in their garden in a private space, they were being captured by a camera, which, you know, they didn't consent to. And there are lots of issues around, you know, how these devices that we might choose as an individual to have one of these devices. We might, you know, choose to have a Ring doorbell because we feel it gives us convenience or because we feel it gives us security. But it's not just a choice for us as individuals. It's a choice for, you know, our communities, for people around us who are also impacted, you know, by these technologies. An example of, you know, going into a friend's house who has a smart speaker on or a virtual assistant on. In the future, it's not unrealistic to think that we might have to consent to, you know, our data is being collected when we go into that house. Our conversations might be recorded. Our information might be collected. And we, in the future, we will see more of these kinds of testing of, you know, what, you know, do we need to consent to that? And what happens if our information is collected and used when we didn't know that a device was present? I think we will see more, you know, more testing of the boundaries around that.
Thank you, Daddy. Now we're all scared shitless. And now we'll move on to our next fabulous presenter. But first of all, a huge round of applause for Fanny Aiken. Thank you.